Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So, apologize, no makeup, sweatpants. It's just one of those days. But I decided that I would sit down and film a video because I haven't posted in a while. So today I figured I would just do a little bit of a story of my daughter's father. So this is a tough one to talk about. My daughter's father is not here with us, and that is very hard for me. Knowing that he's not here to see his daughter grow, and excuse the dog, he's over here, wants to know who I'm talking to. So anyways, I guess let's just get into it. So I met my daughter's father in, I'm gonna say, August of 2017. We were both in a program. This program was to help us better ourselves. I was in the program first, and he came into the program, and we became pretty good friends. We went out to do things. We would go out bowling. We'd go out on the lake by my house. We would, just do a lot as friends. So sorry for this dog. I know, it's okay. Anyways, so we got to really know each other, and I started to really like him. He had told me that he didn't really think of me as, someone to date. We were almost 10 years apart. So it was a little weird for him, but I really liked him. He was everything that I was looking for, and maybe I wasn't looking in the right places, but that's what I thought I wanted. So September 24th of 2017 is when we started dating. It's when he asked me to be his girlfriend, and we started dating. I got pregnant pretty quickly. I did a whole video. My daughter was a planned pregnancy. We got pregnant very quickly. We thought we wanted to be with each other forever. We were ready to settle down and start our lives, and it may not have been the right thing to bring a baby into this so quickly, but we got pregnant. I did the whole story time of how I found out I was pregnant, so you guys can go check out that video. I'll try to leave it linked below if I can. I'm still new to this whole YouTube thing, so I'm trying to figure it all out. Anyway, so I found out I was pregnant, and shortly after that we got engaged. We were engaged, we were planning a wedding, and whatever. So fast forward, whatever it is, fast forward to about February, I would say, is when everything started. I started to notice that he was acting off. He was just acting very different. My fear was that, he was a recovering heroin addict. My fear was that maybe he went back to drugs. And I, had asked him over and over again, are you okay? Have you been using? The answer was always no. It was always, excuses. Not necessarily excuses, but, he would tell me, well, if I was using, I'd be doing this, or if I was using, you would see this, and, and it made sense to me, because I didn't see any of that, and, it turns out that he was just very, very good at hiding it. He was very good at hiding the fact that he was using. He was good in some ways, bad in others. I knew it. I didn't want to believe it. I kept asking him, but he was very, very good at hiding what he was actually doing. So fast forward again to the day that everything happened, March 4th of 2018. This day in particular, we woke up and he was not feeling well. He told me, it's allergies. He was sniffling, just wasn't really feeling well. He's like, maybe it's just allergies, maybe you're getting cold. As the day went on, he started not feeling well. Even more, he started throwing up, and and I was like, maybe you're getting the flu. And he was like, no, I don't think that's it. And at this point, I wasn't really thinking, maybe he is withdrawing. I was not thinking that. At this point, he had convinced me so well that he was doing good, and I really thought that he was, and I didn't want to believe it. So later that day, Sunday nights, we always had family dinner with my grandmother. This Sunday night, we were in the car, and we were on our way to the store because we had to pick up some stuff for dinner. And he told me, I have something to tell you. And at this point, my mind was going wild. I was like, is he cheating on me? Is something, what's going on? And then it clicked. He's going to tell me he's using. And sure enough, the next words out of his mouth was, I've messed up. I'm using again. And everything made sense. And naturally, I went through many emotions. I was upset. I was more angry than anything because we were about to welcome a child into the world, and I didn't want her to grow up without a dad. I didn't want her to grow up without a present dad in her life. And not only that, but it was the whole, you were using, have you been driving me around? At the time I didn't drive. Have you been driving me around, while you're high, putting my life and our child's life in danger? I was very angry in the aspect of, how could you do this? Our life is perfect. We're planning a wedding. We're going to get married. We're having a baby. This is what we both wanted for so long. How is your life not perfect? You have a great job. You have a business that's being handed down to you. You have money. You have a house. We had a beautiful house that we renovated, and we had everything that we could ever want. And more than all of that, we had each other. And I thought that was enough. And I know it's not. I've dealt with addiction my whole life. Most of my life, not my whole life, but most of my life. I've seen people that I love go through addiction. And so I know it's hard, and I know that even when your life seems perfect, it's not. And there are triggers, and I could sit here and try to figure out every possible reason why he decided to use again, but the fact is that he was using. So I found out he was using. We went to family dinner. I was very upset. We went through family dinner, and it was a lot of tension and a lot of, it just wasn't good. When we got home that night, we got home approximately around, I want to say 6:30 p.m., maybe a little bit later, maybe a little bit earlier, I'm not exactly sure. A lot of the stuff that happened this day I know what happened, but it's hard for me to remember exact times and everything. I've had to tell so many people exact times, but anyway, so we got home, and he looked at me and said, I can't do this, I need to go find something. Naturally, I was very upset, and I, told him, you're not getting high, and if you do get high, you're not going to be around me. You're not going to be around me because I don't want you to, because I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with you using, and I didn't know how to handle this situation. I really didn't, everything that I've been through, that still did not prepare me how to handle this situation. My daughter's father telling me that he was going to go get high, that he was going to choose to get high over us. When you look at it, he really wasn't choosing the drugs over us. I mean, that's what a lot of people think, but struggling with something like this is hard, and it wasn't his choice. Not at that point. It was his choice to pick up the drugs again, but at this point, it was more of a, I need this, or I feel like I'm going to die, I need this. So we started making phone calls, nobody was answering. He was getting very irritated with that fact. And, he went out one time, and I think he went to somebody's house, and they didn't have anything, so he comes home, and he's like, I don't care, I'm going to find something. And, I remember I was laying in bed, and he came into the bedroom, and he came up to me and said, I'm going to go find some drugs. I have to find something. And I told him to not come back if he was going to be high, that he needed to get himself help before he could come back. And he tried to give me a kiss goodbye, and he tried to hug goodbye, and I told him not to touch me. So anyways, he left. And at this point, we were texting back and forth, and he was telling me, I'm sorry, you'll be okay though, I'll be okay, get help. And, time went by, and the last text message I got from him was at 8:30 p.m. and he said, don't worry, you and the baby are going to be fine. You're going to be okay. I'm going to stop by my dad's house, and then I'll be home. About an hour, 45 minutes, something went by, and I got some text messages from his dad, and he was looking for him. He's like, where is he? He was supposed to be here. And I said, he told me he was on the way to your house, that he was going to be home, then I haven't heard from him. At this point, everybody's trying to call my daughter's father. Everybody's trying to get a hold of him, and I can't get a hold of him. His mom, his dad, his brother, nobody can get a hold of him. And then all of a sudden his phone starts going straight to voicemail. I waited for hours that night. I was up all night pacing back and forth, waiting for him to come home, waiting for him to walk through the door. I was calling prisons, I was calling hospitals, I was calling family, I was calling everybody that I could think of. Maybe he's somewhere. I don't know where he is. The next morning, sometime in the early morning hours, they found his car. His mom called me at 6:30 a.m. and said that 2 officers were at her house, and they said that they had found his car on an on-ramp, like he was coming home from Philadelphia. We lived in the outskirts of Philadelphia at the time. We lived in the suburbs. We were about 45 minutes from Philadelphia, and you had to take the highway to get back home. His car was found on the on-ramp, turned off, no keys, windows down, his phone, wallet, everything still in the car. That was crazy to hear. Where is he? If everything was in the car, it wasn't a robbery. Nobody hijacked the car. They would have taken his stuff. They would have taken his wallet, his everything, and they would have taken his phone. It made no sense. But he was nowhere to be found. His car was there, but he was nowhere to be found. Windows down in the car. It made no sense to anybody. So the morning that he found the morning that the cops found the car, it was Monday morning. It was March 5th. That night, I filed a missing persons report. In Pennsylvania, I don't know if it's this way everywhere, but in Pennsylvania, you have to wait 24 hours from the last time that anybody has heard from the person before you can file a missing persons report. So I waited 24 hours. I called. An officer came out to my house. I started filing the report. I was very disappointed in how this report was handled. The officer kind of told me, well, he's a junkie. He walked out on you. He probably didn't want a baby. And that broke my heart because we prayed for this baby. We wanted this baby more than anything. Yes, it happened so fast, but we wanted this. This is the life that we wanted. This was the life that I was under the impression that we wanted together. So that broke my heart. That Friday, I took a drive with a friend, and I went looking for him. I couldn't find him. He was nowhere. We went to places that we thought he would have been, places that I knew that he had gotten drugs from in the past. And looking back on it, I should not have put myself in that position, because I didn't only put myself in a bad position, but I put my daughter, who was still in my stomach, in a bad position. But I wanted to find him. That Saturday, we sent out a search party. We had a huge group of people searching for him, and nothing. The police did a whole investigation. They came up with nothing. They had dogs searching for him. They had divers in the Schuylkill River thinking maybe he jumped in there. They've questioned people, and nobody knows anything. We did a whole news report, a whole news story. Again, if I can link that below, I'll link the whole news report down below. Some facts are not correct because this is the media we are talking about. They've got some things wrong. But I'll try to link the story below. So we did a whole interview to try to bring attention to it, to try to bring attention to this fact that there's a man who has a baby on the way and a fiance who loves him at home. We wanted to bring attention to that so somebody out there knows something that happened to him. They know, somebody knows what happened to him, and somebody needs to speak up. But we've even offered a $5,000 reward, and nothing. This March 2020, will be 2 years since my daughter's father has gone missing. He's not here. He's not here to see her grow. He's not here to love her. He's not here for her. And one day I have to sit down, I have to explain to her what happened. But I don't know. All that we know is that he went to go find drugs that night. What happened from there is a mystery. We have no idea who he was with, if he was with anybody. We have no idea if it was an intentional thing that happened, or if it was a robbery, or if it was, somebody else who had a grudge against him. We have no idea. All that we know is that my daughter's father disappeared off the face of the earth. He is nowhere. And we've gone through every possible explanation. Maybe he ran off with his ex-wife. Maybe he ran off with another girl. Maybe he ran off with But there's no evidence for this. There's nothing. We've talked to everybody. I'm very, very close with his family, and he was very close with his family. And, if he was with his family, or if he had communication with his family, we would know. Everybody would know. But there's been nothing. Nobody's seen or heard from him in almost over 1.5 years now. And one day I'm going to have to explain this to my daughter. And that's going to be one of the hardest days of my life. Because I don't want her to ever think that her dad didn't want her. Or that her dad didn't love her. Or that he chose something else over her. Because he did love her and he did want her. And I just wish that somebody would give us some answers, that we would find him. At this point, it is no longer a search and rescue. At this point, it's a body recovery. Because of how long he has been missing for. But even then, if we did find a body, or if we did find something, at least myself and his family, who loves him more than anything, can start grieving. And we'll have closure. And we'll be able to have services for him. And we'll be able to come to peace with everything that's happened. I think everybody has their own theory about what happened. I definitely have my theories. I have theories on what I think happened, which I'm not going to share because I don't want to bring anybody else into this. I have shared them with police. I've shared them with, people in a position to help. But because of the lack of evidence and the lack of just this whole thing making sense in some way, at this point, there's just nothing. And that's really hard because we just want something at this point. We just want to know. We want answers. Myself, his family, his mother is a disaster over this. His dad misses him. His brother. They all love him. Everybody loved him. He was a great guy. He had issues. We all have issues. But everybody loved him. And his daughter will never even get the chance to know who he was. I will never let her not know about him. She will have pictures, she will hear stories, but she's never going to actually physically get to hug him or get to have the daughter-father bond that we envisioned when we got pregnant with her. So that's the story of my daughter's father. He is missing. We know nothing. Again, I'll leave links down below if I can find them, if I can figure out how to leave the links. There's been a ton of stories down. There's been a lot of people who have picked up on this. We've talked to police, we've talked to detectives, we've talked to private investigators, we've talked to mediums, we've talked to psychics, we've talked to everyone, and nothing can bring answers to this. Because the only people who know what happened are the people that were there that night. Whether that was just himself or whether somebody else was with him. But we just want answers. I want answers for my daughter. I want answers so that my daughter can have an answer when she is old enough to ask me what happened. So, as of right now, my daughter's father is still missing. Everybody just does the best that they can every day to live with this. And hopefully, one day we'll have answers. We all pray for answers. But it is what it is. As many of you may see throughout, videos that I do on YouTube and everything, I am in a relationship. It took me a long time to want to get into a serious relationship. I didn't date for a while. And I've moved on. I'm very happy with the person I'm with. We do want to create a life together, and he's very, very good to my daughter. And I know people probably are going to have their opinions on this, but at the end of the day, her dad is not here as much as everybody wants him to be, as much as I want him to be. But he's not. And one day we may have answers, but it is what it is. And I will never forget him. I will never stop loving him. But for my own mental health, for me, for the sake of my daughter, I had to move on. I had to fix myself. I had to start loving myself. I had to stop blaming myself. And once I stopped doing that, I met somebody, and this is where we are today. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. My daughter did just wake up from her nap, so I'm gonna leave it there. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.